I'm Andy Chanley from 88.5 FM, and this is another one of our Here at Home video conference interviews. I may be wrong on this, but I think this may be the first non-musician interview that we've done for one of these, welcoming in Michael Sticka, president of the GRAMMY Museum. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, Andy, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Doing well. Good to have you in here. I didn't mean to speak for you. Are you a musician? Do you play?
I can play about 3 chords on the guitar, and that's it. And if I try to sing, it clears the room. So you were spot on.
Go tell that roadie, and that's it. Well, good to have you in here today. You've got a lot going on, obviously, right now at the GRAMMY Museum. It's your season, and past your season, you had to make some adjustments for the situation that we're facing right now. Let's start with that first. There is a date now set for the Grammys. What is that date?
There is a date. It's Sunday, March 14th. So, the Recording Academy, I think, made the right decision to push it back. January was obviously not a good time. Yeah. Things are looking a little better, but I still think it was the right decision. So we're excited for March 14th.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to push this back. There's no reason to risk anybody's life to celebrate music. The reason that we wanted to talk to you today is about some of the events that are leading up to it, and something that is important to me. It relates to music and schools. This program is called Grammy in the Schools Fest. What is this?
So Grammy in the Schools Fest is going to be a 4-day virtual, really worldwide celebration of music education. So just to give you a little bit of background, every year for the past, I think, 20 years now, on Thursday nights during Grammy Week, we have Grammy in the Schools Live. And that's where we would feature music education. We would feature student musicians. Typically, we bus in around 1,000 LAUSD students to a theater in town during Grammy Week. And it's all about careers in music. It's all about celebrating music and music education. So obviously this year we had to go virtual, and just like we've done for the past 12 months at this point. And so we decided, you know what, if we're going to go virtual, we're going to go big. And we're going to try to include as many people as we possibly can, especially as many students as we possibly can. So we came up in the fall with the idea of Grammy in the Schools Fest and decided we're going to do it Monday through Thursday of Grammy Week and just really knock it out of the park. And I've got to say, I'm proud of the lineup.
Me too. Some of the names, let me just rattle off a couple of them here. I won't read them all because there's dozens. HAIM, who you're very familiar with if you listen to 88.5 FM, Natalie Merchant, H.E.R, Charlie Puth, and many more, Snarky Puppy, Michael League from them. This is a neat thing. It's a real cross-section of music, and how will students be interacting with these artists?
Yeah, it is a cross-section of music. We wanted to be as diverse in genre as we could. And so basically, to answer your question, it's going to be a live stream component. It's all live. There are going to be a few pre-recorded elements, but 90% of this is live. So students are going to be able to engage with the artist. They're going to be able to engage with the educators who are presenting. We actually have 20 sessions. So you listed some of the artists, but we also have our past Music Educator Award winners. We're going to introduce this year's Music Educator Award winner on Thursday of Grammy in the Schools Fest. So it's going to be incredibly interactive. And the other thing that I would say is, and this is what I'm proud of, is because what we didn't want to have is, hey, let's just watch a Zoom and call it a day. We wanted to equip educators, teachers, with lesson plans so that they could take what they're learning and what their students are watching from some of the biggest stars and some of our Music Educator Award winners, and then activate on that. So we're providing lesson plans for all 20 sessions just to further that impact.
That's really neat. I'm a huge proponent of teaching music in schools. I had minimal, I could have joined the band, I guess, in middle school and high school, but it just didn't seem like, I was playing football. I wish there would have been more integration of it when I was younger, because that's when the mind is, such a sponge. And it's so neat that so many artists, there's bound to be something that, just about every student would be interested in here. Do you have a feeling, you at the top said international, do you have a feeling of how many schools are going to be involved in this across the country and around the world? How many students?
I have a general feeling now. So we announced it last week, and all 20 sessions added up, we have more than 122,000 registrations so far. Yeah, yeah. And so that represents, I think we're close to 1,000 schools or 1,000 educators. So we're not registering by school, we're registering by educator. But just 1 week, when we made the announcement and we really started the marketing for this, we're already in the six figures. So it tells me we're onto something. And frankly, I anticipate it to grow because we still have a few weeks left.
Well, and let's say in future years, we have coronavirus licked, and we can get together and hug and have dinner together. This sounds like something. It's a new efficiency, something that you've discovered that may continue on even with the other things that you want to do.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Andy, because this is not something that we're doing just because of COVID and then we're going to go back to what we used to do. I think we've figured out a formula. And then now that we figured out the virtual formula, we have several months that we can figure out the live component to add into it. So once we have COVID, wiped out or at least under control and we can all be back together, we plan to add live elements to this, really starting in the fall. So we're going to really look at the fall when school's back in session and when we can have film crews and everything else, that we can add different components into this. So this is only going to grow.
Yeah. It's time now. We're talking to Michael Sticka, president of the Grammy Museum. It's time now for the hard-hitting questions. So gird yourself for this. I've noticed that a great deal of the music that we play at 88.5 FM has been nominated this year. It happens every year, but this year it seems like, a preponderance of it is nominated. Can I assume, is it your view, that just about everybody, all of the Grammy voters are listeners of 88.5 FM? That just logically follows, right?
100% my view, not speaking on official capacity. It sounds like 100% of the Grammy voters actually listen to 88.5. So that's why that's happening.
Yeah, Tastemaker Station. I'm sure we're the tail wagging the dog on all this. I do want to say one thing though, seriously. The Grammy music in all award shows have taken grief over the last couple of decades as all of us get more and more woke about this group being underrepresented, that group being underrepresented, and so forth. I gotta say, this year there's one category in rock where every single nominee is either a woman or a band fronted by a woman. And it seems like, with what you're doing here with the Grammy and the Schools Fest, that this is not just, from the nomination committee, but across the board, it seems like the Grammy people are trying to be more inclusive and cast a wider net.
So I think over the last year, the Recording Academy, so the large Recording Academy organization that has the telecast, that has the award show, we're a part of the family, has done an amazing job from a diversity standpoint. There's still work to do, of course. There always will be, I think, but it's really been amazing. And from our standpoint, from the museum, we feel that diversity in our content, so our exhibits, our education programs, our artist programs, that's where we can really have an impact. And where we have the biggest impact, I think, is on the educational front. So making sure diversity is really the foundation of what we do from our educational programming.
I think, by the way, if you haven't been to the Grammy Museum, there are so many cool exhibits down there. It's a neat facility downtown LA. You see the background behind Michael there. That's the coolest Zoom background I've seen yet.
And original. It's not a fake one.
It's nice. One thing that I'm kind of bummed about for you is that last year around this time, I was going to a Grammy party.
Yeah,
that's the thing, is there are all of these different Grammy parties, all of the different management companies, record labels, some of the stars and so forth. You can't get together for any of the parties this year. So that sounds like you guys are.
It's tough, everybody has to adapt. And, obviously I think probably March, April last year, we were thinking, oh, hopefully this is all over and we're back, Grammy week and celebrating the end of COVID and celebrating music, but we're not there yet. And so what we're doing is responding to that and taking everything virtual. So you're right, the labels, management companies, the Academy, everybody else are having to go virtual. And in fact, even I think the most exclusive event during Grammy week, the Clive Davis pre-Grammy Gala,
right,
on Saturday night. So Clive is taking that virtual. And this year, he's been so generous that he's having the museum be the beneficiary. So we're going to be the beneficiary of the Clive Davis pre-Grammy Gala, which is a virtual event this year. And we couldn't be more excited. And so it's going to fund our education programs. It's going to fund the museum. And then one last point I'll say to that, speaking of being closed, coincidentally, March 13th was when we closed the museum back in 2020. So it will mark our 1-year anniversary of having our doors closed. Yeah.
Time loopy.
I know.
That's great. Well, congratulations. That's fantastic. So a little bit of fun. You'll have some fun and certainly great to have the wind of Clive Davis in your sails. That's great.
Absolutely.
Well, Michael, thank you for taking time out to talk to us about this. Sounds like a great event. Again, it's the week leading up to the Grammys, which are Sunday, March 14th. What's the website where people who are checking this out can go and find out everything they need to know about it?
So for Grammy in the Schools, go to GrammyInTheSchools.com and you'll see everything you need to know and how to register. And I do want to make sure that that everyone knows it's free. So this is not a event we're charging for. This is a free event. So GrammyInTheSchools.com.
Awesome. Michael Sticka, nice to get to know you a little bit today, and thanks for all the information. All right.
Absolutely.
Michael Sticka on 88.5 FM.
88.5 FM, KCSN, and KCSN HD1 Northridge, Los Angeles. KSBR and KSBR HD1 Mission Viejo. A service of California State University Northridge and Saddleback College. Member-supported public radio. Streaming on the web at 885fm.org.